So Zoran said that he'd like a number 2, sides and back, so he already knows, and a little bit off
Trim, yeah.
the trim of the front,
top.
not too short at the top. Needs it here, doesn't it? In that front bit a little bit, so that it comes back. It always goes to the side.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's got a natural part there, hasn't it?
I knew I was going to get cut.
And around the ears, so all around the ears. Yep. Okay, and we need to clean up the neck as well. So I've got to get my number 2. So I've got my number 2. I need to slide it into here, and then click. So this is a Panasonic one. So
Yeah.
I think you get these in your kits.
Yeah. But how can we measure here that have the
Now
this
that will
one?
actually determine up here, when I roll it,
Yeah.
you can actually see that
Yeah.
will come up. So what happens there is I can get very close. So if
Yeah.
I want an exact number 2,
Yeah.
then I take it down to the right as low as I possibly can.
Yes.
If I want it a bit longer,
Yeah.
like a 2.4 or 2.5 or
okay,
something,
yes.
I can bring that up,
Yeah.
and that will actually give me a little extra length.
Oh,
So
okay.
sometimes when I'm blending, I might go from a 2,
Yeah.
then I might go to a 2.5, then I might go to a 3 clipper, and then I might change the attachment and go
Okay.
to a 3. So it helps me to blend from one length into the other length.
Okay.
So I'm going to just use the 2 and so I'm going to take it, when I take the clippers, when I'm actually doing clipper work, you must take it right to the scalp.
Yeah.
Oh, hold on. Just is running out of battery now, is it? No. It's flashing. Do you have the cord? No, I'm not. Michelle? Yep, when you're ready. Okay, so right on the scalp and up. So I'm just doing the nape at the moment. Yep. So this hair here grows to the side. Now keep taking that hair off if it's quite long, okay? I'll come in shorter along here later. I'm just going against, the hair's growing one way, I'm just going in the opposite direction to get it because it's, but you've got to come in right into the hair. Don't sort of just go like this with it. You're not going to cut anything. I'm going to take it up now, the length up a little bit more. I'm going to take that length up a little bit higher, so
Yeah.
that bottom
To
around
get
the
more
clippers.
layer.
Yeah, wow attachment. Yeah, we have a box somewhere with the pair of clippers in it. No, the wild one might be all right, but I just need to know the. What numbers do you want? Oh no, oh no, they don't fit onto it. 2, 3, 4. So flick, see flick. So I'm coming down and flicking. Okay, so I've got to see where I'm going. I want to come up to here. So what I can do is even comb here, and I can comb up like that as well. That'll actually help me to blend it. So if I want it to there, then I just push the comb down here a little bit higher than where I want, because it's going to hit the comb lower. And so if I push this down and go over the comb, it's what we call a pressure graduation, and it will actually help blend the two in. If I come up just up and flick out, doesn't blend as much. Okay, but that's how you should still learn. In and out. In and out, like in a C. Yeah, I just got to check if they work. If they've got battery. If they are. Oh, good to go. This one's all right too. This one's, I just scared the battery was going to run out on me. Okay, now I'm going to come around the ear here. And this is where a lot of people have a lot of problems around here. Just move the ear down, and I can come in the curve of the head, and then I can start flicking up here. Then I can come here, along and up. But see how I've come on the diagonal a little bit? See, it's on the diagonal. And then I'll come up. I'll do scissor over comb at the end, move the ear away as well so that I can come around. So I want to get as much hair off as I can, so I've got less hair at the end to have to, you know, work with. Now I'm just going to flick it a little bit. Again, that will actually create a little bit of blending as well into there. So I'm getting this here. So my first area was here, then my next area came here and along here. So I've got to do the other side now.
Any hair for me?
Comb the hair down too. Don't just leave it. Comb it in the direction that it's got to go. Otherwise, what's going to happen is that you're going to find that the hair will go, and you need to in maybe a direction you don't want it to. You've also got to look at the direction the hair is growing as well, because you might find that you need to adjust how you're cutting, and you might have to go in another direction. So you always have a look. You know, the hair could be quite curly. This has just got a light wave to it, so it's actually quite easy. It's fine in texture. It's got a normal density, except on the area where it's a little bit sparse, but that's fine. Just be wary of it. See how I push the ear down again so that I can actually get around the ear? So you're overdue for a haircut, aren't you?
Mm-hmm. I've got an engagement next week.
Oh, yeah.
What I better get it cut?
Yeah, and get it cut first so it doesn't look like just cut.
That's correct.
Yes. So I'm just pushing down a little bit there to go up over the comb, so I've got that little bit of graduation there. So it's blending it already. I'm still going to blend it more. So then I'm going to cut, then I'm going to blend, okay? Just make sure you know where you're going. Don't just get the clippers and go up like that, like I know most of you do. Another thing, don't hold the clippers like this. Thumb on the top. Fingers underneath, so you've got, yeah, that's it. Nice and light too. Two. But here you can adjust this level to go a little bit up and down, so that it can be a little bit closer or a little bit higher. It will add length there. If some of the clippers might have it, this one doesn't, have it at the side where you can push down the handle and it will lift up too. Okay, now you've got everybody. You have scissors. I've got the scissors. Yes, okay, so I'm just going to wet it down just a little bit. Most men tend to have it dry cut, and you just might need to dampen it down. Right. Now, the area I'm going to come around now is all around here. Then on the top, then blend it. Should be sort of one of the first cuts that you'll be doing, all right? You've got to get longer on your, from longer on your mannequin head to shorter, and then you'll be coming around. I couldn't go up a little bit higher there, but I'll do it through blending. But see how I'm just taking vertical sections, bringing the hair straight out at 90 degrees, and just my fingers are on the vertical, okay? They're like this, they're not up or down or around. They're just straight out and straight up and down, especially in men's hair, because you want that little bit of a squarer shape rather than a rounder shape in the women's. Okay, so cutting women's hair, like my hair and a man's hair, is not much different, except my hair will probably have a bit more of a rounder shape. Men's hair will have a little bit of a squarer shape. Just coming around. Vertically out. Here it will get a bit harder, and I'll be doing scissor over comb at the to blend this line in here. And I know some of you who are doing learning scissor over comb, it takes a little bit of time. So That's out the way. This is out the way. Even if it's parted on the side, I'll take that out the way. So it comes that all the way around. Always be conscientious too of crown areas, because they're the areas that can just stick up. You'll need to maybe keep them longer or keep it a little bit shorter. Try not to have the hair going too far forward or back, just straight out. That 90 degree. Check it, you can just come up and I can just check it this way to see if the lengths meet. So if you cut vertically, check horizontally. So that's called cross-checking. You do it on longer hair, you can still do it on your shorter hair.
And you'd always blunt cut, not point cut?
I usually blunt cut, especially on this type of hair, but I can...
And you don't get like the scissor marks in it?
No, not too much. I can point cut, but there's no point cutting along this area. It's too short, really. And I'll be blending, so it'll all blend in. There won't be any lines. The hair grows a little bit over to this side, okay, over to the left. So then I might actually, with the scissor overcomb, have to come the opposite direction and then up again. Now in the scissor overcomb, your comb goes slow, your scissors go fast, and don't put your thumb right in, your thumb just sits here. Fingers here, little finger there. This one actually probably needs a little bit of oil on it. Would help if I opened it, wouldn't it?
Michelle, is this the blade you're looking for before?
Oh, yeah, it's not the one I was looking for, but that's it, yeah, that's better. So if it's stiff, just check and might need a bit of oil, okay? Because your fingers, this has got to go quite quickly. The bottom blade here sits here, okay? And that's here. So you've got that there, like that. Yeah, and you've got to practice it. You've got to sit there on the couch, in the bathroom, anywhere you're sitting. Take your comb, take your scissors. Yeah, maybe that one's better. Anyway, yeah, that's right. Even on the mirrors, just go up and back down, up and down. So you're doing that. Practice, practice, practice. Yes. To somebody. I can even pick up the hair and push it across a little bit if it's growing to one side as well. Sorry, I'm just going to pick it off. Now I'm only coming to here, okay, so I don't want to come in too short. So I'm right in along the scalp and I lift up. And I just keep doing till I see that I can see here that I need to come, because it's a little bit thick and there's a line here. So your eyes have really got to look for light and dark, they've got to look for shading, they've got to look for thickness where it's a little bit bulkier, so you're looking all the time.
Michelle, can also, instead of using the
Scissors?
scissor overcomb, can you use the
Clipper overcomb? Oh,
clipper
yeah, but that's too easy.
to do the face?
You can. With the finer hair, I probably prefer to use the scissors, preferable to the clippers. If the hair's a bit thicker, sometimes I tend to use the clippers actually and do clipper overcomb. Clipper overcomb, though, you're not moving the hair as much. So if I was clipper overcombing, I'll just show them. The brush in here. Yeah. Just keep making sure your hair's not there. And that will have to be really close. So it has to be really close. I can't lift that blade up, so it has to be close. If I'm doing overcomb, I can't lift it up like that. It has to be close because I have to be able to run here. So if I was doing that, I'll just do a little bit here. I've got to lift it up, and I'm picking it up, and I'm just running across like that. I can do it. As I said, just a little bit easier, that's all, if I'm doing it that way. So in, out, here, this is where I tend to use it, especially on the sides here. Most men don't like it gets messy there. Oh. It actually gets really messy on the front of their hair, round their ears. So bring the hair forward so you can see it here, and then I can actually pick it up with the comb and just blend that in, just taking it up. If there's any other little pieces, I can even run it across. That all needs blending still in there. And make sure and then around the ear, I'll show you now in case some of you have to go off to do anything. If you're doing around the ear, corner, the corner here. And it's like you're drawing. So I'm going to just use the corner here, and it's like you're drawing around the ear. I'll do the other side too. So I'm going to push the ear down flat, and then I'm going to use the point of the clippers. Who was having trouble with the round the ears? Somebody told me. Oh, that was Cindy. She's not here. Because this is where it gets harder. I can come around here, but I'm actually going to come in here, and I'm going to lift the hair up here, and I can see where it's a little bit, the hair is sitting out and where it needs to come in. And here I can just come around. My husband always tells me off. He says I'm rough when it comes to the ears. Maybe it's just.
Yeah, so use the
maybe
clippers
it's just
between
him.
the back of the neck, like
Yeah,
the neck.
and yeah, the neck. Now, depending, you've always got to find out too, which I haven't asked, Soren, is do you like it just natural, just blended in the neck, or do you like a line, like a square line?
I think the square would be better.
Yes. So we like the square. So that means when I do it, I'm going to come down here, and then I'm going to come across, and down like that. Because that way, it's going to give him a neater, sharper line. You find a lot of businessmen like that sort of squarish look. Whatever you do, don't come into, even if they have it a little bit rounded, never come into a point, never narrow it down. Men's necks are quite wide, so if I narrow it down in here, unless it's a fashion, you know, one like a mohawk or something like that, it's going to look like a mohawk. It's going to look like a tail. It's going to narrow their necks, and they've got this wide neck, and then you've got this point right in the middle. You know, it's not really nice, like, unless it's a fashion style, and that's all right. So here I'm pushing the ear down, just coming in around. Here I can push this forward, I can lift it, and I can run, you know, the clippers across here. And again, have it so your comb, and I was talking with Michelle this morning, your comb, it's easy to actually lift in and out. Don't grip it. You actually need everything so it's light, so it's easy, so you're holding it in your hand so you can, you know, lift it and lift that out to blend in for graduation. If I hold it in flat here, and if I cut that, we can imagine how much I'm going to take off. Okay, if I want to go from shorter to longer, I need to come in at the neck here, and then I need to lift it out so the comb is on an angle. I'm actually graduating, what they call graduation. That's a taper comb. This is a taper comb. It goes right in here, and it's wider there. Okay, that can be good too for little areas around the ear, but it's also good for moustache, and it's also good for eyebrows. So if anybody wants their eyebrows, I'm just showing, and they can come in. I just say, can you close your eyebrows, please? And you will come in like that, and then you could use your clippers across there. And you can use it for around the ears too, because in the ears, and that's part of grooming. It is a barbering unit, but you should still know about it as well. And so if I won't do your eyebrows. Ears, but around the ears, I just like would take it and just come around, just showing them. Yeah, just showing them. So, yeah. I know my husband always has his taken off, but just that's an extra. It's not an extra service. It's a service you should be able to do, you know. And even in here, you can actually it might tickle or noise, but you can even just run the blade. And again, another reason why they have to be disinfected, you know, after use and before. It should always be that way. You should always have a cloth or some spray or something that you're using every time you finish a haircut. That should be. Oh. Hello, Michelle. That should be part of the service before. Part of the service too is if you see any little hairs on the ear. Usually I don't even ask. I just run the clippers across and do it. But eyebrows, I would ask, because some men actually like their bushy eyebrows, others don't. And moustaches, you know, you can even learn to just run your. You can actually, if you know how to do a Novacomb, you can pop it in and you can actually run along or comb it down. And then just when you learn to use that corner there, you can just come around and get them to go like that and come around. But we'll show you that another time. Yeah. Yeah, we need somebody with a mustache. Yeah. Yeah. And you don't have a mustache. So you're just getting the haircut today. But then, yeah, it's good. They need to know everything. So I still haven't done the top yet because it's only a tidy up on the top. So, you know, the focus is in here and I still need to come around here. But see, a square neck, just straight down. And never come up too high, okay? Never come up too high. Because if I come up too high again, I'm losing, I'm going to lose the, yeah, that is running out of battery. It is running out of battery. Keep the cord always with you. Then again, it will take away, it'll make his neck look like it starts here, not down here. Okay, so don't ever say, oh, I think that needs to come up a bit higher and then you end up here. Because then I've actually cut, yeah, I'm actually giving him a different head shape. Okay, so all you need to do is run just along the edges here and down the side here. And just, I tend to just like to take off those little bits that are going, I know are going to stick out in here, so I can just lift that up and again a little bit of overcomb. Everything's dying on me now. That's what happens.
That's been on charge.
Has it?
In the barber room, yeah. Unless it's not turned on.
Oh, that could have been the problem. That's all right. We've done the majority. I can do the scissor overcomb. And you see, that's why you need to know scissor overcomb as well. So if you haven't charged your battery on there, overcomb. But as I said, I prefer the overcomb in the finer hair anyway.
Softer.
Yeah, it's softer. That's just what you were saying before, Deanne, about lines in the hair.
Yeah.
It is actually much better to have it softer this way. If I do the clippers, it is a bit hard on the fine hair. As
For
I said.
women with short hair, scissor overcomb finishing it just
Yeah.
makes it soft, so short. It's not
Mine's
so hard.
scissor overcomb at the nape and the sides. My haircut is done by scissor overcomb.
Yeah, I used to get mine done by scissor overcomb.
Even if they clipper it to get the length
But
off,
that's what I'm saying.
they'll
you
finish
just
it.
off with scissor overcomb.
Yeah, finish it off with scissor overcomb. So that's where, just because you don't have to define too much the men's and the women's and gender with haircuts. If you're doing short women's haircuts and men's haircuts, there's not too much difference. As I said, maybe a little bit the shape, and even these days, not even always the shape of the haircuts. You know, as I said, my haircut is still fairly popular with men's. It'll then come down to styling when I go home.
Pretty much the difference for you would be on your sides here. So women tend to have it sort of fluffier on the sides and sometimes on the neckline as well.
But there are a lot of women too who actually
Have the
like
harsh
it.
lines.
Not, yeah, they like it very much coming around here. So you know, there is a little bit of hair on the ear here, and I'm hoping there's enough battery to get that off. If not, I'm going to quick. So again, especially if you're going out. And also another thing I'm going to ask is, do you want that a little bit higher?
Oh,
Just blend it in. Yeah, so I can just blend that in. That's when I can do a number one, or I can just lift that up, or actually no, what I'll do is I'll come down and I can.
Albert's going to be all scissor at home, isn't
Hmm?
he? Albert's going to be all scissor at home.
No, clip.
You reckon?
Yeah, I think he just wants it clipped on the sides and the back.
And then blend it in.
And just blend it in, yeah. Okay, so I need to do it a bit more again. I can see it needs a bit of blending. So now it's all about the blending, and as I said, a little bit off on the top.
Not saturated, just damp.
I'm just sort of up to men's haircuts now, so I'm going to check it. Make sure the barbers leave everything for us. All right. Also, they should have. So now, just horizontally across. So uniform, haircut, square. We could, some people even call it a planner haircut, and a planner haircut is square. So that one's just straight up, 90 degrees, elbows up. I'll just take it down the front here, just through the middle. I might just point cut here so that it's a little bit softer. So if it falls down, that you don't get that line coming across here. Taking it back and up. Back and up. All right there. Back and up. Then here, I'm going to take, I can still take that back and up, and then to join it in, I'm going to take it this way with my fingers vertical. Fingers vertical. Vertical. Same here. Blending it in by just having it vertical. And again, probably more so on men's and women's too, I might just square it off that way with the vertical finger positioning, rather than with the women's I might come a little bit rounder like that. But again, we've got to look at the difference in the men's head shapes too, and in facial shapes as well. Nothing is exact. Everybody's different, everybody's individual, and that's what you've got to do. And you can see that really goes in a strong crown there. I'm just going to come around, just check. Yeah. And of course, Soren's going, did you say a wedding or engagement? Engagement. Next week.
Next weekend.
So we've got to have it so it's not over too shortcut, just cut looking. Because then he can come back in a few weeks, in 4 weeks, and have another haircut. Another demo. Oh, they should be doing it next time. Because of lockdown, they're behind. So they're trying to catch up. Aren't you? Oh. So just on the edge. See? So that's, see there? And just keep looking. So, comb it the way it is. Sometimes when the hair has different colours in it, you've just got to look. If I come up too high here as well, which I notice a lot of you do in your haircuts, think about, and I know you do it on children and things like that, and you come up really high, really think about, do you really want it that high? Is that the fashion, or are you just doing it because that's easy when you disconnect a haircut? A disconnected haircut is when it's quite long on the top and quite short around the sides and the back. So you've got to really think, am I doing that just because it's easy? Or is that the look I want when you disconnect it? Because a lot of us will say, who've been in the industry a while, that's too high. to come up. It should be down a bit lower sometimes with the crown. So look at the way you're sectioning. Maybe look at pictures and then sort of copy the pictures as to where it's sectioned. Nothing wrong with a disconnected haircut. I used to wear disconnected haircuts all the time because I quite like the longer and the shorter, but you know, it's you just got to think, how high on the scalp do I want to go? Do I want to go that high, to there, to there, to there, down to there? Because at the moment this is done in different panels, so shorter, longer, 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 and longer again. So there's probably about 5 types of sectioning in here that I've got. So in most men's haircuts. If you're just keeping it long on the top and you're cutting it short around the sides and the back, that's only 2 sections you've done. So you've done a section here and then you've just done one around here, nothing else. That's easy. You know what I'm saying, don't you? I'm expecting more. And see how the fingers are on the comb, excuse my nails, I can move my comb. Again, don't grip your comb. There's some other ways everybody holds the comb as well. So there are some people too that even prefer just scissor over comb, and they'll actually refuse clippers as well. So even my daughter always tells me off when I clip her brother's hair, because she said that his hair should be scissor over comb only. And I go, and I use the clippers as well as scissor over comb. She just loves scissor over comb, that's all. Fuss pot. Should be grateful, shouldn't I? Just check the sides are even. But yeah, there are some, yeah, and barbers mainly will sometimes not even use much clippers, they'll do scissor over comb as well. You know, I'm just looking at the way that the hair sits naturally. Looks better. Do you want it shorter on the top? Or, well, you're going to come back in 4 weeks. So, yeah, I didn't.
A bit thin on top of that, especially, so I don't want it too.
Yeah, just needs to be balanced out a bit. That's all. Yeah. Yeah. Well. There, that's better. Just take it off where it's a little bit heavier, and just as I said, just balance it out a little bit. So that's what you're doing too on a lot of haircuts. You're just balancing out. Click it in. If you don't click it in, it pops out. Then you might end up with just a blade. This one's for making the hair squarer on the side. I know she would like that. So if I wanted to, I could take the attachment off and square and run it across like that and make it squarer here. Okay, and I could run it squarer, but right now I'm just going to blend a little bit more in. So I can come up and just blend a little bit more. So that's number 3. And I'm just blending. So I'm just running over. I know that it's already short, it's already blended, but if I want to just blend a little bit more, I did the number 2 here, and so it's a 3 there. Technically that's a cut, so that'd be about a 4 there. So I can just get those little wisps off. And just blend. Yes? So see how that blended with just that little bit more? So up and down, up and down, up and down. Just taking off any little tiny bits, just, you know, while with the blending, okay? So that you can see there that it's blended from the 2 to the 3. And as I said, and then scissor work over the top. Okay? And most people will do that. You want to see this one, don't you? See if I can get it. Here. If I want to square it off a bit more, up, and then I can just, it's already squared off a bit, I can just come across, okay? So just do that just for, I've got to make sure it's on 0. Up, there's nothing really to cut there, so up. So I've got to keep it flat. You've got to keep it flat. So in, out, up, and I'd come across that way, okay? Then down, that'll keep it flat. I'll do a little bit on the other side. I want to make sure everything